Good. Deport undocumented immigrants that have committed crimes. How is that controversial? Oh my God. How many times do I have to repeat this? It's called marketing. Even the dumbest hog understands this, but for some reason, people who just retain this information, normal citizens like this chatter here, simply cannot comprehend the notion that there are millions of undocumented migrants that have committed heinous, violent crimes on U.S. soil and have not been prosecuted and have not been subsequently deported or are in perma jail now as a consequence of that is fucking insane. Okay. The reason why he's making it seem as though that is what they're going after is because it's much more marketable for him to say that instead of saying the truth, which is we are going to do dragnet operations in your neighborhoods. We're going to bust down doors and we're going to grab the abuela that works at the grocery store that you wave hi to every day. Okay, that doesn't eliminate the point being valid. I'm not validating all his points. I just think deporting criminals is a valid POV. Otherwise, arguing it is an invalid point if it's not what's actually going to happen and not what is. It's an invalid point because he's lying. How do you not understand this? The reason why it is an invalid point is because he makes it seem as though the current federal government does not prosecute criminals who are undocumented. If you believe that, you're a fucking moron. That's it. Of course, he's not going to say we're just going to do dragnets and forcibly put the otherwise law-abiding abuelas down the street from you into permanent jail. Okay, he's not going to say that because people are going to be like, that's a bridge too far for me. He has to justify it, and the way to justify it is by claiming that these guys have done heinous, violent crimes, and he has to further justify that by claiming that the previous administration did not prosecute undocumented immigrants who committed heinous, violent crimes. That's it. If you take everything he says at face value, you, as a dullard, will sit here and go, oh, well, this makes sense. I understand his other points might be invalid and not in good faith, but as Dems on the left, if our messaging is a counterattack, first of all, I don't care about the Democratic Party's messaging on this issue, and I don't care about what you think is the best possible way to go about it in terms of the optics. Because you clearly are too stupid to understand what's already happening here anyway. Dems on the left, our messaging is a counterattack on the premise that a majority of Americans agree. Okay, a majority of Americans agree that Jesus Christ is going to come back to earth in our lifetime. What do we do about it? Should we legislate accordingly? The f do you mean, dude? What a stupid position. If a majority of Americans believe that the only law of the land is the Christian law, and we have to actually learn about Jesus Christ, our Lord and Savior, in schools, are you going to say, well, a majority of Americans agree with it, so I guess that has to be the case? Politics is the art of the possible. Dude, I can't stand liberals, man. I cannot stand liberals. Like, they literally substitute being bad at politics with like some kind of adult way of interpreting the situation. Politics is the art of the possible, which is why we have to constantly cave and capitulate to the Republican framing on issues, no matter how fucking insane it is, no matter how made up it is, because if we don't counter message against it, people start believing the Republican messaging on the issue, and then there are enough people that believe it, well, then it must be true, I guess. If our messaging is a counterattack, a premise that the majority of Americans agree and believe in, we're going to continue to sink further in immigration polling, which, whether we agree or not, was a huge impact during the election alongside the economy. I'm going to die. The reason why a huge majority of Americans believe this falsehood is because the Democrats never communicated that it was a falsehood at all. They just showed their bellies. And worse, they actually solidified that this was a real issue. It was born out of real data by actively making their own exact same right-wing reactionary white nativist immigration, anti-immigration bills. Brilliant stuff, okay? Big words don't make you sound smart when your point is bad, lol. I don't think I used any big words. I don't know if you're talking to the other chatter. What are the big words that I'm using here? Republicans have a starting position that is born out of a lie, okay? That's it. It's born out of a lie. The idea that undocumented migrants that come, and documented migrants too, by the way, this is not just undocumented migrants, so I got to stop saying that. Non-citizens, and that's the Customs and Border Patrol, Department of Homeland Security state, designation for this. Non-citizens are responsible for an unimaginable metric ton of fucking crimes, okay? That's a lie. It is the exact opposite, as a matter of fact. They are responsible for less crime per capita than natural-born U.S. citizens, okay? The reason why Republicans advance this position is for a multitude of different reasons, but many of which is just simply that they're fucking racist. Okay. If the liberals, and the craziest part about this, by the way, isn't that like this was something that was unforeseeable. You got to lay off calling people fucking morons when they approach you with counter arguments. If the counter argument is moronic, I'm going to say that it's a moronic counter argument. I'm sorry. If your counter argument is, well, a lot of people believe this dumb shit, and I haven't really examined whether or not there is any veracity to it, and I just think that when a decent number of people believe in a complete falsehood, then we just have to act like that complete falsehood is the truth, then you're a fucking moron, you know? I'm sorry that it hurts your feelings, dude. What are you talking about? I'm sorry, I'm a bot, and you have to treat me like a special little flower in the chat. My feelings will be hurt if you don't do that. This also goes back to the American entitlement, American exceptionism, and American individualism, and the American entitlement that like, I came up with this idea and it's a brilliant idea, so you have to take it seriously. Me. You are an entitled American, dude. Racist. People from all countries come to Mexico to gain access to the USA, skirting the law, says MJ Plays. You are an entitled American, dude. I am. Okay? I am an entitled American. Exactly. So you have to listen to me now, okay? Instead of other, at least I'm an entitled American who understands what the is going on, rather than an entitled American who's a dumbass, who's going around being like, me. Hasan, please see the truth. People from all countries come to Mexico to gain access to the USA, skirting the law. Okay. First and foremost, the law is restrictive. Okay. Specifically designed to make sure that people come in illegally, or in many instances legally come in, but they want to fucking deport those people as well, for the record. And they are working to deport those people as well, or take away their immigration status. That's number one. Number two, the normal process of coming into the United States of America, especially from a Latin American country, especially from a South American country, is unimaginably long and virtually impossible, especially if you don't have a lot of money. Okay. So that is precisely the reason why people do this thing where they seek asylum, which is legal. Okay. Seeking asylum is a legal process. And many of those people who are going through the legal process of seeking asylum in the United States of America that actually had their CBP-1 applications that were supposed to be today, when they were supposed to have their interviews yesterday, got the application shut down. So you're actually shutting down legal migration as well. I empathize with real asylum seekers, but we are allowing criminals in without due diligence. You don't know what you are talking about. If you think that the CBP-1 application does not actually have any sort of background checks, you're just wrong. And not only are you wrong, but you are fantasizing about a reality that you came up with that no, plenty of real criminals are actually skirting the system. I'm sorry. I can't entertain the silliness in the chat if that's your take. Who do we contact to confirm the background check? The dictators? Yes, they call up Maduro personally. The dictators. Do you think that that's what you're implying? No, I'm not implying that because I'm not a fucking moron. Do you think that the Customs and Border Patrol is actually woke and the Department of Homeland Security is actually woke and they're wokely saying, even if someone is of a criminal background, even if someone has a criminal background, let's not investigate that. Let's just let them all in. Is that what you think is going on? Also, if that's the case, you probably assume, and it's not false, that a shit ton of undocumented migrants came into the United States in the last 4 years of the Biden administration. So why did they not amount to an unimaginable, why did they not cause an unimaginable sea of extra crimes that took place in the process? Or do you think they did, and the quote unquote woke law enforcement officials in every state, in every locality, actually secretly were all tasked with hiding this truth and simply did not arrest them? Or when they did arrest them and they realized that they were undocumented migrants, they let them go. Because in terms of the murder rate, for example, it's gone down in the process of unlimited migration into the United States of America. Perhaps it's because undocumented migrants, at least if you look at the data, are responsible for significantly lower percentages of crime per capita than natural-born U.S. citizens. Hasan, I don't want you to be killed by a migrant. Please stop. What? Dude, you are just fucking brain dead if you think that any random migrant person that you see is a murderer, okay? I don't know if you're trolling or if you're just a racist fucking moron. What the fuck? I live in Los Angeles, okay? The fuck do you mean? I don't want you to kill, I don't want you to get killed by a oh, shut up. Oh, I'm trolling a little bit. Oh. It's crazy seeing certain sex workers become MAGA over the past couple of years. Jesus fucking Christ. Dude, what are you talking about? It's clout. People don't give a shit. They just want to, one, everyone is susceptible to the same kind of brain rot. Okay. That's number one. And number two, people are very clout obsessed and want to make money and think this is a better way to generate attention. And then people will come and jerk their photos that way. I know this, you know, I've seen it. I've seen it happen. Much more popular workers than Misgiv's fake sister have actually successfully done this in the past and still continue to do so.
The alien.